So today's opener, we do have a couple of different problems up here than what we've seen before. It's the exact same things that we've been doing. We know it's still solving inequalities and solving equations because of the inequality signs and the equal sign, but I threw some fractions at you. So let's take a look at the first two here. So we have 2/3 times a is less than or equal to 6/7. So my goal is to get the a by itself. So what's the opposite of multiply? Divide. So whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. So I'm just using a different symbol to show division. Now, when we divide fractions, there's a mnemonic device that helps us to remember how to divide fractions. It's all about chicken. Do you guys remember?
No.
Do you guys ever learn that one?
No.
When you divide fractions, you're going to keep, flip, change. KFC. Okay? So when you divide fractions, you keep the first fraction the same, you flip the second fraction, and you change your division sign to a multiplication sign. So I'm going to come up here and show my work. So if you wanted to show your work on the left of your opener, you can do that. So I said we're going to keep our first fraction the same. We're going to flip our second fraction, and we're going to change our division sign to a multiplication sign. So keep, flip, change when you divide. Okay? Fractions you have to simplify. I like to simplify my fractions from the very beginning. But you have to remember, when you simplify fractions from the very beginning, you can only simplify any numerator with any denominator. But you cannot simplify numerators and denominators. You can't do that. So you can simplify any top number with any bottom number. So I'm going to look first here. 6 and 7. Can I simplify that?
No.
Nah. So then I'm going to look at this numerator with this denominator. Can I reduce 6 and 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what are they both divisible by?
3.
Nope. They're both not divisible by 3. They're both divisible by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay? So I'm going to look back. Does that change? Can I simplify the 3/7 now? No, that stays the same. Once I have 1 as my numerator and denominator, I know that's in simplest form. So I move on. So I go to my next numerator, 3. Well, it's the same. Can I simplify 3/1? Nope, simplest form. Then can I simplify this numerator, 3, with this denominator, 7? Nope. So therefore, it's in simplest form. Now, when you multiply fractions, you remember what to do? Anybody? Not cross multiply.
I'm lost.
You multiply straight across.
I am too.
Okay? So I'm going to bring my variable down. I'm going to bring my inequality sign down. I'm not going to flip it because I didn't multiply or divide by a negative number. And then I'm going to multiply my numerators. What's 3 times 3?
9.
And then multiply your denominators.
7.
And we already know that's in simplest form, so we don't have to worry about reducing it any further because we already did that before we multiplied it out. The reason why I would simplify from the beginning rather than the end is because you're working with smaller numbers. So it just makes it easier. Okay, so when we go to graph this, we're going to come down, we're going to put 9/7. Is it going to be open or closed? And a is less than or equal to 9/7. So which way is my arrow going to go?
This way, to the left.
To the left. Good. Now, will there be a question like this on your quiz? No, I'm not going to give you fractions on your quiz. But you're going to be dealing with fractions. I didn't want to do a whole unit on fractions because you guys have been dealing with fractions from 6th grade on. But we're going to throw some in your openers as a review to kind of get you thinking about them again. All right. So, move to our next one. B divided by 2/3 is greater than 6/7. So how do I get the b by itself? Times. So 2/3 divided by and multiply, those cancel. So whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. And I'm going to write these right up next to each other. Now, when you multiply fractions, all you have to do is multiply your numerators, then multiply your denominators. However, again, I like to reduce from the beginning, so that means I can simplify or reduce any numerator with any denominator. I can't do my tops or my bottoms together, but any top with any bottom. So can I reduce 6 over 7? No. Can I reduce 6 and 3?
Yes.
Yeah, what are they both divisible by?
2, 1, 3.
3. 3 divided by 3 is?
1,
And 6 divided by 3.
2.
Okay, so I just reduced those there. Okay, I look back at my 2. Can I reduce 2 and 7?
No.
We already know the 1 is in simplest form. Well, my next numerator is the same. So if I couldn't reduce this 2, do you think I'm going to be able to reduce this 2? No. So then I go ahead and I continue solving. So I bring down my variable, b. What's my inequality sign? Greater than. And then multiply your numerators.
7.
No, multiply your numerators. Top.
4.
4. And then multiply your denominator. 7. And we already know it's in simplest form because we simplified at the beginning. Open or closed? And which direction is my line going to go?
Right.
Because the b is greater than 4 sevenths. Good. I was not a fan of fractions in junior high.
I'm not even a
Did not like them. Still,
I never.
they're okay now that I've got them.
I never even liked that. Never.
But you're good at it when you focus.
Yeah.
All right. Negative 4 times c is greater than 14.
Okay.
Say again? By what? Negative 4. So, key thing, I'm dividing by a negative 4. What happens?
You flip it.
That's right, I flip my inequality. Okay, what's 14 divided by negative 4?
Well, I got 3.5.
Negative 35. I
What?
got 10. I got
Negative.
negative.
What?
Negative.
Can you divide 14 by 4?
I did on this. I can't.
If you take 14 and divide it by 4, what are you going to get?
3.5.
You're going to get a decimal. Do I like my answers in decimal form?
No.
No. So what do I have to do to this?
Making it fresh.
Okay.
Simplify it.
First thing I'm going to do is simplify. What's 14 and 4 both divisible by?
4,
No.
6, 2,
2. So say, come on. 14 divided by 4 is?
7.
4 divided by 2 is?
What? Negative 2.
2.
Negative
Now, I simplified, but now I've got to deal with this negative sign, right? I can't forget about this guy. Can my, say it again, put it on the top. I cannot have a negative sign in the denominator. I can either have the top there, or I can have it in the middle with my
I liked it.
fraction bar. It's wherever you choose. But if you put it down here, I will mark it wrong. Open or close?
Open.
Which direction?
Left.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
I'm
Thanks.
not sure if I got that one right.
All right, last one. What kind of problem is this?
Multiplication.
Okay.
Yeah.
Solving one step what?
Equation.
Equation. Why?
Because we're an equal sign.
There you go, Ben. All right, how do I get the d by itself?
Times 18.
Times 18 on both sides. Now I'm taking a whole number and I'm multiplying it by a fraction. How do I change a fraction to a, or excuse me, how do I change a whole number to a fraction?
Negative, no, 18 over 1.
Yeah, put a 1 up under it. Okay? Now, I don't want to take 5 times 18 and then have to reduce that at the end. I'd rather reduce it, simplify it from the beginning. So I'm going to look. I'm going to look at my first numerator, 5. Can I reduce 5 with 6?
No.
No? What about 5 and 1? Well, 1 simplest form, so nope. So I go to my next numerator. What is my next numerator here?
6 and 8.
18. Can I simplify 18 and 1? Simplest form. What about 18 and 6?
Yes.
Yes. What are they both divisible by?
3.
6. They're both divisible by 3. They're both divisible by 2. Now, I would do 6 because if I reduce it by 6 from the very beginning, I'm only going to have to reduce it one time. If I reduce it by 2 or 3, that's okay too. You're just going to have to simplify it or reduce it again, okay? So if you did by 2, that's fine because you would get 3 over 9, and then you'd reduce 3 and 9 because they're both divisible by 3 to 1 and 3. But we're going to go by 6. So 6 divided by 6 is what?
1.
18 divided by 6 is?
3.
Okay, when you multiply fractions, so I'm going to have D equals, you first multiply your numerators, which is,
5 and 3.
which equals,
15.
15.
and then multiply your denominators.
1.
If I want my answer in simplest form, am I going to leave that 1 there? No. Okay, now we need to graph D equals 15. How do I graph that?
Just put a
Just put
circle
15.
and don't put an arrow.
An open circle or a closed?
Open.
Now, remember, these are open,
Closed.
these are closed. So the equals what makes it closed.
Right, don't go.
Make sure both ways.
It doesn't go anywhere. It's just straight up right there on 15. So we just put a little dot on 15.